Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jackie, and I'm the Director of Development with Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. This workshop is made possible by grant funding from the Kids Hope Alliance for our Tiny Talkers program. The Tiny Talkers program focuses on early intervention for speech and language delays and disorders. There are two main components to the program. The first is to provide our screening, evaluation, and therapy services to children where they are, at their preschools. The second is to educate parents and caregivers about speech and language delays or disorders so they are identified sooner and children receive encouragement and consistent reinforcement wherever they are. When you combine these two components, children that need therapy are more likely to be identified and have a better chance of entering kindergarten with the same knowledge and skills as their peers. At the end of this workshop, you will be given information on how to access a brief survey. This is an important part of refining our program to be as helpful as possible. It also helps the Kids Hope Alliance know that their funding was well placed. I encourage you to take a moment to follow those instructions and complete the survey. If you complete all 4 trainings and would like a certificate of completion, instructions will be provided for obtaining one at the end of the series.
Hello, my name is Lauren, and I'm a speech-language pathologist with Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. In this workshop, we're going to talk about the role parents and other caregivers play in the treatment of speech-language disorders. In previous workshops, I spent some time going over the different types of disorders and what you can expect from the evaluation process and therapies. So I won't get into those details now, but if you missed those workshops, I encourage you to check them out after this one. One thing I will repeat is, if you have any questions at all about whether or not your child might have a speech-language delay or disorder, please have them evaluated. Most insurance companies will cover an evaluation when ordered by their pediatrician. And many will also cover or help with the cost of therapies. There are so many resources available online that can help you gauge where your child should be developmentally. The important thing is that you do not ignore it. When children have untreated communication disorders, it can lead to problems with reading, writing, academic success, social interaction, behavior, and more. If a child has a speech or language disorder, they'll be working with a speech-language provider, like myself, to treat that disorder. The treatment doesn't stop when their therapy session is over. Children typically receive 1 to 2 30-minute sessions a week directly from a speech-language provider. As you can imagine, reinforcement at home and school are key components to treatment. There are many habits parents and caregivers can implement that will reinforce what a child is learning in therapy. The first is support and patience. When a child has a speech-language disorder, it can be frustrating for parents and caregivers. It's important to remember that it is just as frustrating to the child. They can see that they don't communicate in the same way that others do, but they want to. The most important thing a parent or caregiver can do is have patience with the process and always support the child's development with positivity. The second is referred to as compliance. If a speech-language provider gives you homework or instructs you to attend weekly therapies or play a certain game at home, it's crucial that you follow the directions given. In some cases, you may be given instructions that are for trial or experimental purposes. However, in most cases, a provider is giving instructions that are going to help the child develop. Now, I understand life is busy and sometimes it's not possible, so do it as often as possible. Try not to go a whole week without doing it at least once. Just a few minutes every day is ideal. Something that can make those two things easier is to work language activities into other activities. It's fun for everyone, and your child won't even realize you're helping them develop their communication skills. I'm going to separate language activities into 3 categories: outdoor, indoor, and vacation. When you're outdoors, you can walk and talk. This is simply talking about what you see. Ask your child what's going on, and when they say something, respond to it. For example, if they say, "Dog running," you say, "That dog is very fast." Where is the dog going? Another great outdoor activity is follow the leader. Take turns leading each other in activities and talking through them. For example, "I'm jumping, jumping, jumping." You might also like hide and seek. This hide and seek is a little different though. You hide an object and give the other person directions to the object. For example, go to the big tree and then go left. Look under the bush with red flowers. When you're indoors, you can make up stories with art. Cut up old magazines or newspapers and glue them on paper, or draw your own characters to tell a story. Draw speech bubbles for your characters and write things for the characters to say. When you're done, talk about the stories you created. You may also like having your child help you with grocery tasks. Have your child tell you what is needed to make lunch. Ask your child to describe each step as you do it. Ask what would happen if the steps were reversed. Have your child help you write your shopping list. Ask why you need each item. Categorize the objects. Which ones are vegetables, fruits, meats, etc. Ask which foods are eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. After shopping, ask your child to help put away the groceries. Talk about where each item will go. When you're on vacation, play travel activities like finding, rhyming, memory, and guessing games. A good car sing-along is always a good idea. Sing familiar songs or learn new ones. Creating memories is another great vacation activity. If you're at the beach, collect shells and talk about the differences between them. Now that I've covered some things that are helpful, let's review some of the things that are not helpful for communication development and what you can do instead. First, being impatient. Instead, allow the child to process information, think, and respond. Second, anticipating the child's needs. Instead, encourage requesting and initiating communication of needs. Third, using baby talk. Instead, use language models appropriate to the child's needs and age. Fourth, asking yes or no questions, instead of asking open-ended questions. Fifth, answering for a child. Instead, remember to allow the child to verbalize and/or facilitate his or her ability to communicate. Sixth, saying too much too quickly. Instead, slow down, keep directions and comments simple and concrete. Seventh, not responding. Instead, be responsive to gestures and communication attempts of nonverbal children. It is the child's mode of interaction which will lead to verbalizing. I'll leave you with one final recommendation. If you want your child's communication skills to improve, communicate with them. Talk through everything. And remember, remain calm and positive. You can find more information about communication disorders and the services we provide at Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center by visiting our website at shcjax.org or by calling the office at 904-355-3403. That concludes this workshop. I hope you learned something new and helpful. This is part 4 of a 4-part series. In our other workshops, we review communication disorders, the evaluation process, and what treatment looks like. You can find links to those below, along with a link to the survey for this workshop. Please remember to take that survey so we can refine this program and continue to receive funding for it. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.